The idea basically was we usually what we try to do is we cover a lot of ground, and not to necessarily go on bus tours where we're restricted to play, like, you know, places that are about 200 or 300 miles away from each other, or kilometers. So basically, this way, when we fly around, we can cover a lot of ground and play in places that are not necessarily close to each other, and also kind of like have an interesting tour for the fans. And we've done this a few times now, and basically when we travel in South America, that's what we do as well, because it's such a huge, you know, it's a continent, so it's like, it kind of works out really well to reach a lot of people in different places in big metropolitan areas. We're not opposed to bus tours, it's just that we find that if we can concentrate like 4, 5, 6, 7 shows via plane, we can cover a whole lot of ground and fly all over the world, basically, you know? That's the idea. Yeah, basically, when we did the locking thing, we all were in involved in different projects. And at some point, I think around 2006 or 7, we all kind of left those projects alone, or they were on the back end of us being free and being able to dedicate time and thought into Exumer. And at some point, you know, I called up Ray and I said, hey, let's start the band back up. Are you into it? And he said, yeah. You know, he was done with this rock project, and I was done with my thrash project in the States, and then things fell into place real quickly, and Paul, the other singer, was involved in the first reincarnation of that lineup. So was Tony, and then we just kept it going from there. But we, you know, we've known each other for 30 years, so it's like we never are out of touch with each other, you know. I mean, and I mean, I live in the States, he lives in Germany, and but it's still, you know, it's kind of easy to stay in touch. And yeah, we never, when we do Exumer, we need to focus all our energy and time into the project. So we can't be, you know, doing side projects and, you know, really thinking about other things, because things like this come up, or we have to do a record or something, so we can't be tied up with other things, you know. So, yeah. He comes from that area where Valdemar lives, so it was kind of, and he also, Matthias, our drummer, works with some bands from that area. He works with Sodom, he works with Creator, and helps him out with technical stuff and with the drums. So basically what happened was, when we were looking for a producer, all of us listened to the previous Sodom album, not the last one, but the one before, and we really liked that record and the sound of it, and we kind of thought he would be a good producer, and then Matthias went ahead and contacted him and got us in touch with him, and we met, discussed the project, and he was open for it, you know, he was all good to go, and we said yeah. And then the same thing with the label. We wanted, basically the idea was, we knew we haven't released anything for 25 years, so if we come back, it has to be just right, you know, so the production's got to be on point, the record label can't be, you know, it has to be of some sort of reputation, so we were looking for that. And when we started negotiating with labels, we didn't, you know, we kind of went and negotiated with Metal Blade and the likes of Metal Blade, and then they offered the best deal, basically, you know.
So in the end, it wasn't clear from the beginning, but so it wasn't clear, and then we started to work on the record. But while we were working on the record, we talked about that, what we want to do, and then we said we definitely need one for the production, someone that is possible to bring our experience and our style from the 80s to the new and modern sound that we wanted to have. And so we picked up Valdemar because he's from our area. I saw how he worked with Sodom. I showed the last Sodom CD, or the War and Peace City to the guys, and they said, wow, that's cool. And so we came to Valdemar. The same with Metal Blade. Mem knows Andreas, who is our guy at Metal Blade for a couple of years, and they're good friends. And he said, hey, let's talk to this dude. He will totally be into the project. And we said, well, that's great. We need guys like this.
Yeah, so basically the idea was to come back strong, to do everything correct, and to cover all our bases. Everything that we could do, we wanted to make sure that we'll do it 100%, the best we can do. And then the rest is really up to, you know, the fans and the press and everybody else to either receive it in a positive manner or reject it. Luckily, they received us really positively. It was a great success for us, you know. So we thought, you know, by covering all our bases, we did the right thing. You know, we made the right choices. So. The idea was, I mean, they're known tracks, but what we wanted to do, we had, you know, Possessed by Fire and Rising from the Sea with two different singers. It's very rare that the same guys talk to each other after all these years. So what we thought, what would be a treat for the fans, to re-record those songs with me singing on a Rising track and him singing on a Possessed track, and also to kind of, you know, showcase the songs in a light where, you know, we recorded those songs 20-some years ago, but they still hold up today, you know. So it wasn't just a fluke. I mean, Ray wrote some fucking amazing music, so, you know, we wanted to showcase that it's still amazing, you know, and it holds up against everything new.
Yeah, and that was the connecting point between the spirit from the 80s connecting with a new sound as well, to show when we started playing, or when I came into the band and started playing with the band, everything we played nearly was back from the 80s, so like Possessed by Fire and Rising from the Sea. So for us, when we made this record, it was clear that we said, people have to know that even the old songs now played are sounding really good, so we wanted to bring this to a record as well.
Yeah, so we do it live, people know that they sound great live.
And one funny thing is that everybody recognizes Fallen Saint as a re-recorded track, but some of the people don't recognize that the other one is a re-recorded, so it shows us that it really fits into the new songs, all in the same sound.
Yeah. I mean, it was a treat. It was like, it's not something that we do every record, you know. It was just, you know, for that record, it felt right. It's our comeback record, and you know, it was the right thing to do at the right time. Yeah. No, when we do things, it has to be at the right time, and the timing is everything. And I mean, you know what? If we would have thought it would have been a financially good idea or set a standard, we should have done a full-blown reunion after Wacken. You know what I mean? In terms of finances and everything was ready. I mean, we had offers at the time and we declined them. I mean, all we did at that time was re-release the first two records through High Voltage underground label in Germany. But we had offers for a new record because, you know, we were playing Wacken, and it was so financially it would have made the most sense to do it then. So if we're looking at trends, or if we're looking at financial benefits or so, it's not that. I mean, you know, it all has to do with are we available to get the band back together, and we were, and it's all about timing. I mean, and you can't do, we don't do this project half-assed, you never, you know. So it was the right time for us. It happens to be that at the time other bands were coming back, and there are new bands playing thrash, but I mean, you know, you can't force something. And I think you can tell if you listen to Fire and Damnation, it doesn't sound like, oh shit, we got to record a record and, you know, let's put something out there. You know, it's not like that. And we got back together in 2008, and we were done recording and mixing Fire and Damnation in 2011. So it took us 3 years to get back together, tour, write the album, record the album, and all that. So you can see by that just the time that we put in there, and the thought that we really, you know, we treat this as our baby, so, you know, we can't just have something half-assed or not 100% ever.